Hi guys, so happy to have you join me today. We're going to do some fun nature art today, as promised. It's finally beautiful and springy outside, so let's get out there. Some shout outs to some really awesome artists that have been sending me some stuff. We've got Audrey, Cooper, Wesley, and Miriam. So keep it up. I've got some more people that keep sending me stuff. I love it. Thank you. And surprise me with whatever. I have 5 videos. This is the 6th now. So any of those, an old picture that I already did a while ago, that's great. Or anything you've done, I'm just happy to see it. Just want you doing art. Okay, so hopefully you maybe found a box or an egg carton, and or maybe a rock. There's my heart-shaped rock. And I'm going to show you what we can do with those today. And if you don't have either of those, you can still do something fun, I promise. We are going to read this darling book called Only One You by Linda Krantz. And those are little painted rocks, which Linda Krantz painted. And they're super cute. Those are a little fancier than what we're going to do today. But inside, there's all this great advice. Some of this awesome advice is never stop learning. Slow down and notice details around you. That's kind of what we're going to focus on today. Anything is possible. All you have to do is try. And smiles warm the heart. They are contagious. So there's all kinds of words. And that's actually what this cute story, Only One You, Linda Krantz by Rising Moon Publishers, is really about. It's a little fish family giving their baby fish some advice. Great advice. I think it's time, Papa said. I think it is, Mama agreed. Time for what? Adria asked. Papa's voice softened. To share some wisdom. There they are in the ocean. Always be on the lookout for a new friend. All those beautiful fish. Look for beauty wherever you are and keep the memory of it with you. Sometimes we're really worried on taking pictures. Just try to take a picture in your mind. But look for beauty everywhere. That's what we're going to do. Blend in when you need to. Stand out when you have a chance. Love that. Find your own way. You don't have to follow the crowd. Those cute fish. Know when to speak. Know when to listen. When Mrs.Michie is given directions in art class. No matter how you look at it, there is so much to discover. All those shapes and patterns on those cute fish. Little rocks. If you make a wrong turn, circle back. We talk about that in art all the time. There's no such thing as a mistake. We can fix it. There's usually always a way. You guys always surprise me at how great you are at fixing mistakes. If something gets in your way, move around it. We can be adaptable. Set aside some quiet time to relax and reflect every day. I bet you all have had some time to do that, right? Appreciate art. It's all around you. Yes, it is. Especially outside. We're gonna use our artist's eye. Make wishes on the stars in the nighttime sky. Thank you for listening, Mama said. We hope you will remember. Papa winked and whispered, we know this is a lot for you to think about. Adri did a backward somersault and smiled. He was excited to go out into the world with what he had just learned. Wait for me, he shouted to his friends. Look at all those cute friends. All those gorgeous friends. Before he swam away, he turned back to his parents and said, I will remember. Mama kissed Adri on top of his head. There's only one you in this great big world, she said. make it a better place. Oh, look at that heart. So cute. That just kind of seems to be a theme lately. Showing our love and kindness to each other. Okay, so we are going to paint some rocks, draw on some rocks. I don't know, whatever supplies you have. And I'm going to give you some tricks if you don't have all the supplies in the world, because that happens. So I would like you to go out on a nature walk for a couple of things. Look for a rock. Here's my beautiful heart shape that I found. But I've also found these other cool shapes. I found this one, then I was like, that looks like a butterfly. Look, that looks pretty fancy. I found a cute little round one. Oh, ladybug. So cute. Simple. Happy ladybug. And a really simple, just words of advice. Happy, you can do this with a heart. So cute. So I know that you're like, well, Mrs. Michie, I don't have fancy acrylic paints laying around. If you do, great. You're gonna wanna slow down and do these step by step. These can blend really fast and kind of make a mess. Guess what I used? And maybe you don't have this in your house, but with permission from family members, you know what I use for those? I use these 3 really pretty nail polish colors. And that's how I got this very fancy, I feel like, butterfly with all those colors, and they kind of all blended in. And my very fancy shiny ladybug. I obviously on the ladybug, I just painted it all with one color. Bada boom. I actually let it dry overnight. And then the next day you needed a Sharpie. You need a Sharpie. I used a Sharpie. This is just generic Sharpie. Permanent marker. And you make that line down the middle. Very easy. And then wherever you want to make that little face, you make that little whole solid black part. Or you could use make a crazy ladybug or any kind of bug. But you want to let the first color kind of dry. You don't want to go over it. You're going to mix colors. If you want to mix the colors, great. But you'd let that dry overnight. Then you use your Sharpie. Maybe little circles, line. Then after the Sharpie doesn't take any time to dry. Then I put on a lighter pink and I made little bug eyes and a little mouth. Then I had to let that dry for a couple hours too. And then I went over it again with Sharpie to make the eye dots and the little funny teeth. Okay, again, butterfly, had to let that dry overnight, but I blended those pinks, as you can see. I blended all those pinks and kind of when it was wet, and that was fine, but then I let it dry overnight, and then I went to town with my Sharpie. Okay, and I just made those butterfly wings and the butterfly body, 3 parts to that, and little swirly antennae. Or go really simple. And I just painted it whatever color I wanted. And I wrote an encouraging phrase, you can do this, with a little heart. And you could go hide that on somebody's doorstep when it's all dried or whatever you want. Guess what? If you don't have fingernail polish, the reason why I love fingernail polish is because it already has the brush in it. So you don't even need a brush and all that other stuff. That's pretty great. Or wash your brush off between each time you use an acrylic. Mrs. Michie is pretty boring with her color choices. I stick with the pinks, sometimes a little bit of a pinky orange. But maybe you have big sisters or anybody that wants to share their fun, wild paint colors, or a funky mom or grandma. Okay, so I used Sharpie on my heart to see what that would be like if you have colored Sharpie. And in fact, this one with the arrow right there, you know what? That's a good old, plain old marker, if you have a marker, and it wasn't horrible, that purple. So try something new, see how it goes. Or just with any marker, write a positive note, find a really cool shaped rock. Got to be pretty smooth to be able to write on it or paint on it. And go put it on a neighbor's doorstep. Little words or encouragement. Okay, my second part is my egg carton, and again, you can take any box. I painted on mine with watercolors that I actually made from old markers. You can Google how to do that. I was going to show you guys, but it was a little dangerous. So you definitely need parents' help. So, but that was fun. So anyway, I painted it with watercolors and I wrote nature treasures and textures. So on your nature hunt, you are going to ask permission if you see any beautiful colors of, especially tulips, of any flowers or anything. Please, please, please get permission before you pick any flowers. I would assume most neighbors are going to be super cool with picking leaves. Go to a park. There's lots of textures, lots of colors at the park. And let's see what I found. Okay. Some of the things I even had in my home that are from nature, like an old shelf from a trip. And then actually a long time ago, my boys went trilobite hunting, and there's a trilobite and it has an amazing texture. But then stuff I just found, park, grass, pine cone. There's lots of different types of pine cones, you'll notice. Ooh, pokey spruce there. This beautiful dried like flower. I love that texture. So rocks, you could do a whole thing with just rocks. Rocks have a lot of different textures. It's kind of hard to find a smooth one, but this one had a whole bunch of rocks kind of clumped together. I like that. And it was really bumpy, but then there's also really rough ones. So go explore. Seed pod. My son just grabbed a bunch of dirt and put some dirt in there for me. So there's lots of textures. And then with this, you can do a lot of fun things. Like you could blindfold a sibling or a parent and then have them guess what they're touching and just tell them it's all things in nature. There's lots of things you can do. So have fun with that. Do one that's just completely about the textures you find. Texture is really important in art, and trying to get that texture on the paper, like showing what that texture of that thing is. So it's nice to explore with texture, just with the actual feel. Guess what? Can't find a carton or even a small box to put little texture treasures in. I made this. It's just on paper. I just went for green shapes and texture. So just by green, there were so many different shapes of leaves. I mean, nature is amazing. I want you to use your artist's eye and really be out there searching and looking for different shapes, different textures. There's so many things you can do. And then once you've kind of done this, you're going to be surprised. And when you're out just taking a normal walk, all the things you do notice now that you've been like, oh, looking for, oh, I'm going to show you my favorite one I did. I did a rainbow in my nature box. And now, since I've done that, every time I'm out for a walk or outside, I'm like, oh, that's a really good purple. Oh, that's a really good blue. Anyway, enjoy. Look outside. Hopefully I'll post some more nature activities that you can do really soon. So have fun, enjoy your art, and check out my last idea. See you guys. My rainbow treasures. I even have rocks, sticks, all kinds of things hidden in there.